chair and stuff. Yeah, some
Plans that they can in the presence of the man. Your future look better than your past if you present with the man. You better. You niggas can't share my air. I walk a mile in the pair I wear, and I'm getting better year by year. Like they say, why
the water, bro.
Cold
water.
Brought the K9 through,
Got it.
and I pay
Cold water, Bubba.
I know these money hungry bitches wanna chase my wealth,
needs a cold
but
water.
I keep them on a diet, embrace their health, or even keep them on the quiet.
sorry,
Face myself and just take a deep breath.
welcome.
I got them grabbing their chest, cause it's hurting them to see fathom
Got it,
is
brother.
best. And they in they worst, they rather see me laying a hearse than laying a back. And I ain't just laying a verse. I'm
What time they still serve dinner and all that shit here? Shelters here, so there you have it. Do another look right here of the part of the rescue mission. They got a nice thing. They got a good thing going on there at the mission, that's for sure.
Waiting for Danny the girl is singing songs to me beneath the marquee overload.
Hello. Good, how are you? Good to see you too.
So now we also have a nurse who's here weekdays.
Oh, that's awesome.
So on the intake process, they come through with the nurse just to do a pregnancy test, see what they need, if they need an appointment with an eye doctor, a dentist, just to get them situated physically.
Exactly.
We also have counselors. This is like the head counselor, and she
Okay.
does the relapse prevention program as well.
Yeah. I just want to get into that a little later. But
And then, yeah, we also have our counselors help with job search services. So
Cool.
they help build resumes, they help them
maybe get
to
into
do
school if
references.
they need a financial aid,
Yeah,
applying
to
for
fill out
financial
school
aid stuff.
applications, scholarship applications, all that stuff. Address all those before.
Is that, yeah, that makes
you know,
sense.
that way it's sustainable, that lifestyle. This is our chaplain's office also.
Oh, chaplain.
I'll go in.
Yeah.
Woo. Oh, he's on the call. Never
Okay.
mind. Laundry rooms and communal bathrooms for this floor.
Wow. How many women, more or less, are you able to hold, or do you
so
have?
we have 4 women per room. And the
Okay.
reason the men have a lot more men per room.
Yeah.
But for women, just relational things, and also
Yeah.
there's a lot of women shelters available.
Yeah, I
So-
saw that when I was looking into things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And then a lot of the
it's
furniture in
looks
the rooms.
nice.
Yeah, if you want to go in. you're
Yeah,
welcome to.
it looks really nice. This?
And these beds are from the furniture.
Yeah, they look
Yeah.
like it.
But now we do Hallelujah Barbecue, which is a catering company.
Oh,
So we still do the vocational rehab. So people who finish the RP program,
what's the RP program?
the relapse prevention.
Okay, right on,
people
right
who
on.
finish that, or just people here who come here and they're looking for a job.
Right.
They can work for Hallelujah Barbecue and build a resume, gain an experience in the food industry, and all
Awesome.
that. So. it's
Oh,
good
this
to
is
see
cool.
And yeah, there's like a little community hangout.
So about how many residents would you say you have? Like, not a lot of women, obviously.
Yeah, so we can house up to, I think it's 192.
Okay.
The average for us is usually 130, but with COVID,
Oh.
the numbers actually really dropped.
Okay, okay. But even there, at least it's not like overly just.
Yeah, no, we're able to do, and then with the affordable housing, once that's built, it will have 60 additional units.
Okay.
And then this is our chapel.
Sweet. Through all this stuff. This looks pretty interesting. It looks pretty darn interesting. Let's see if these people are still, yeah. It looks like they're still camping out. What's up, anybody out here? I was gonna see how many people is here. Grab some Little Caesars. Pequito habla español. ¿Cuántas personas viven aquí?
Yo sola.
¿Tú sola?
Sí, señora.
Oh, really?
Before,
Oh,
before I live in there. Okay, come in.
Sí, okay.
Would you like?
sí, gracias.
Sí,
Oh, it's nice.
yeah.
This looks nice. It's bueno.
Maybe understanding and have the same thinking, but maybe no.
Yeah, that is why.
Maybe
Yeah,
you can thinking different to me.
yeah. That's why a lot of times Más personas, más complicado. Mi niño, 5 años. Niña, 11, 11 años. Y mi esposa.
Your wife.
Sí. All right.
Debió molestarse.
Un por tú, una por mí. All right.
Póngala por ahí.
I ain't seen nobody. Citizens of this neighborhood. It's a beautiful thing.
They do have state funds as well.
Okay.
And so I don't know how much they have and how many beds they have available, but you know,
They'll make it work.
I think have yet to tell us they can't take
Oh,
somebody.
wow. Okay.
So, you know, they tell us, you know what, we won't have a bed till the end of the month. We'll keep them here in our residential program.
Oh, cool.
Because like once they're like getting ready to like discharge from the detox program, that's when we start like, let's see where we can place you if you're wanting the help. And so that's when we reach out to Mario and be like, we have this person, he wants to go to treatment, he wants a year-long program, do you have a bed? And like sometimes it's like, you know what, we won't have a bed for 3 weeks. Okay, let's keep him here for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Versus like you have an appointment 3 weeks from now, good luck.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
So we all like, honestly, I think, you know, between us and Casa Vida, like the Recovery Alliance, Aliviane, all of us, we have worked really well together in, you know, connecting patients to the resources that they need.
I stopped going to church, I stopped praying, and I noticed I lost all my friends, I lost whatever family I did have left. I was in the streets alone, I would go days without eating, you know, I lost my self-happiness, you know, the love for myself, and I noticed that was because I stopped, you know, praying to God, I stopped, you know, asking Him to, you know, watch over me, and the people that I did love, a lot of them, you know, like bad things were happening to them, but then I started praying to God again, and you know, now I feel a little bit better about myself. You know, it seems like my days and the people that I love, their days are getting a little bit better. So
I like something you said that you're feeling better about yourself. I think that the enemy so often, like when we fall out of alignment with God, like you mentioned, and then it's like the enemy makes us feel so like guilty or like ashamed. There you go. Yeah. Ashamed that we're like avoiding to even go back to God. You know what I mean? Like how are y'all funded?
Well, right now we have a couple of grants. One of them, which is probably the most important one, is through Project Vida. We have a collaboration.
Okay.
They applied for a grant and they kind of attached us to it.
Okay.
For anyone that's homeless. In a shelter, in a vehicle, kind of like the definition of homelessness. You're under a bridge, living in a car, and sometimes they call that couch surfing being homeless because you don't have an exact place to
Your
go
own
to.
place, yeah.
They would qualify for 90 days of service here. Free of charge.
Wow.
90 days, they succeed, they complete, then they'll get an additional month, which is sober living.
Nice.
And that fourth month, they have to look for work or go back to a job they had, volunteer or go back to school. They get that month free. My 26th day came, and this guy shows up from Casa Vida, older man, Jesus was his name. He says, I have a free bed over at Casa Vida. And then my counselor at the time, her name was Irene, she says, hey, Mario, you got like 2 days left, man.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He says, well, yeah, you're 28 days because I went into the CRU. The crisis, and you got 2 days left. And I was like, all right, I'll find a place to go.
Right.
So the therapist said, Mario, you don't have many options, man. And I said, I don't have a problem. I'll figure it out. He says, Mario, do you remember why you're here? And I said, a little bit. So you've lost your wife, your job, your house, your car. You almost died. I mean, so what are you waiting for?
Right.
I said, well, and then the guy comes back the next day, man.
Wow.
And I had one more day left.
Yeah.
And she says, you better get on that van now before you lose this opportunity. He says, why would he come back here again, Mario? That's a sign from God, dude.
Wow.
He could have filled that bed somewhere else. So I got in the van. And my first 7 days, man, I read on the wall, you know, the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps of NA, Narcotics Anonymous. And this lady who was a staff member at that time says, this is what's going to save your life. And I'm like, well, I mean, I'm a believer in God. I mean, and I said, well, I don't think so, man. I mean, I don't want to stick around. And I said, I'll give it a shot. And my 7 days, man, I wanted to leave.
Right.
Pacing back and forth. We weren't here. We were in the other place on Welch. We used to be on Welch.
Oh, okay.
And she says, hey, Mario, I see you a little antsy. And I said, I want to leave.
Yeah.
And she says, have you thought about where you're going, man? You were just going to make this sudden move where you're going to take off. And I said, well, no, not really. I said, I'm not going back to that OC again, I tell you that.
Yeah.
And she says, well, she says, listen, you got 7 days. She says, give yourself another 7 to 10 days.
After 2 weeks.
If something or someone does not keep you here, I will refund your misery, man.
There you go.
And I said, right? And I said, what did you just say? She said, I want to refund your misery.
Hey, brother, I know you're busy too. I gotta take off. You want to go into that or no? Go back to their own ways. Does that discourage you, or like not at all, really? Because you know
it doesn't. It saddens me.
Okay.
You know, it doesn't discourage me because you know I taught them as far as what God has taught me, and I tried to teach them the same way.
Right.
You know, by my example of the things that I used, and it's like, you know what, bro, I've been there.
Right.
Exactly what you're going through right now, what you're feeling. You know, all this worldly sorrow, all this, you know, poor me, and oh man, come on, bro. You know what? I've been there, done it.
Right.
You know what? You have to submit. You have to say, you know what? I'm done.
Right.
You know, and again, I take it back to identity. It's an identity problem. You know, that they think that, and the devil comes in. You know, once you use, you know, first the devil's telling you, hey, it's okay, man, you can do a little bit. Then you do a little bit, and then the devil's like,
just give up.
Man, you're never gonna change, man.
Exactly.
You're still the same scumbag that you'll always be.
Exactly.
You know, and you fall into that trap again.
That's
you know?
a major trap.
And you start using again.
Exactly what happens.
But you know, when you're feeling those things, you go to the Word of God, bro. You get on your knees. You pray. You know, and God will put you through, man. And if He takes that craving away, you know, that's another thing that, you know, God took that craving away from me.
That's amazing.
He took away that alcohol craving that I never ever thought I was gonna. You know, He would always go to. I would always go to the scriptures where Paul said, "Well, remember your brothers in prison." You know, and Paul said it, and Jesus said it. You know.
Yeah.
If you go to meet the people in prison, you've met me. You've reached out to me.
Right.
So, with that coming to my mind a lot, I said, you know what, I need to get into a ministry.
Yeah.
You know, and I got into the detention ministry first before I got into Sanchez, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, God, you know, reading the Word of God.
Yeah.